right, it's time to go get some baby chicks and give them to the mama hen and the mama turkey. I hope this goes well. It's time to take this off and see all these babies. Oh, I'm scared of them. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 11 out of this one. All right, now to take the top off this one. So it's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 baby chicks. Wow, that's a big hatch. So there are a couple of eggs left. So I need to candle them to make sure there's no baby chicks under them. I'll say under. Let's look. All right. As you can see, it stopped growing. So that one is not going to hatch. So I have another egg we're gonna candle. You see, there's no baby chick in it. It stopped growing, so that one's not gonna hatch. This is a blue egg. It's really hard to see in there, but you can see that it stopped growing as well, so it's not going to hatch. This is a green egg, and it is super hard to see in. I'm gonna turn off the light and see if I can see movement. Okay, there is no chick that's about to hatch. You can see all the way through right here. So this one stopped growing as well. This is a brown egg. I do have the lights off. It's hard to see in these brown eggs. So I'm just assuming that it's not, let me try to turn it over. Okay, see, you can see that it stopped growing because it's not fully formed. So this is not going to hatch either, and there's no movement at all in the egg. So it's time to take these little boogers to their mom. Aren't they cute? So what did I say, 21? So there's 21, and there is a turkey and a chicken, so they should be able to raise them really well. When you own a farm, there's a lot of ups and downs, a lot. And I always talk to you guys about having to be always prepared. Like if a mom is pregnant, you know, like let's just say a goat is pregnant, I always have to make sure I have colostrum and milk on hand just in case I have to bottle feed, because those things happen, as well as, you know, it's happened with my pigs. With chickens, I have to be prepared as well. So one way I'm prepared is to have a proper medicine cabinet. I have all kinds of medication in there on hand in case I ever need it if there's an animal sick. Well, yesterday I went to go put the chickens up and my rooster wasn't going to roost. And I knew immediately there was a problem. So this is Billy Snead. Instead of Billy Idol, it's Billy Snead. And this is who didn't go roost. So I want to show you, just for your education, what's happening. First of all, anytime there's a big weather change, like a heat front, a cold front, a raining spell, chickens are terrible about getting sick. So this little boy has respiratory. It's one of the common things that chickens get. I'm going to try to show you. You see how his eyes are shut? And they're shut on both sides. Let me show you. He's got such, you see, they're swollen shut, which tells me there's respiratory involved. That can run rampant in your chickens. If one gets it, the next thing you know, they all get it. And it is treatable, but it can be deathly as well. So you have to be on top of it right off the bat. So last night I separated him from the rest of his flock and gave him an injection. It's an antibiotic injection called Tylenol. And I also put what's called Vet RX all over his nose, his wattles, because that is almost like a Vicks for humans. It opens up the airway. So I gave him that last night, and I'll give it to him again this morning. He should recover in a couple of days. So now to go give these mamas their babies. They're gonna be super excited, I'm hoping. I've had one situation where the mama didn't accept the babies, but I'm gonna be here all day, so I'm gonna keep a close eye on these babies to make sure they're being taken care of. But you know, moms raise babies a lot better than us humans. Mamas know best, right? It's like that in animals as well as humans. So I'm hoping that she accepts them and free ranges them, and they're healthy as ever. I'm in the coop now, and I'm letting all the animals out to go play before I give Mama Turkey and Mama Hen the baby. So I want everyone to get out of here so they can have a little bit of privacy. Alright, now to give the mama babies. Let me make sure there's no eggs up under them. Alright, here we go. Let's see, let me scoot. Well, there is an egg. It's going well so far. I think what I'm going to do is move this. Hang on. Let me get in there. I'm going to give you some babies. Oh. Let's see how this works. So I gave her some, and I gave her some. But you see they're not going up under mom. So it'll take a minute for them to bond. But see how mom's lifting up for them to get up under her? So that tells me she's probably going to take them. You see she's kind of tucking them under. That's a good thing. So let me just kind of tuck them under. So there we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. All right. That one's asleep. I'll put it up under mama. All right, you see how they're kind of bowing their wings? Look at that one. Isn't that sweet? Let's see what she does. I thought she might tuck it under, but hopefully they'll be happy. So I'll come back in a little bit to see how they're doing. And then I'm gonna have to put some feed and water out here. So when mom gets off the nest, that she will give them food and water. All right, Now that I've done that, it's time to go let the chickens out. Another donation that I got to my farm was this water right here. This has been perfect for baby chicks. You can see they can peck right down here at the bottom, so it's small enough for them to get to. And this has been such a blessing to my farm. So thank you so much for donating it. So it's time to go let these chickens out right here. Good morning. Good morning. They're like, nope, it's not a good morning when Mom's standing there. Okay, come on, baby. All right, I'll let them come out at their own pace. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 automatic chicken doors, and that's been a lifesaver for me in the mornings. But with the bigger animals like the turkeys and stuff, they can't fit out the door. So they do not have automatic chicken doors. I'd like to give a shout out to one of my subscribers, Morning Wood Farm. Thank you so much for subscribing to my page. You're always encouraging with all of your comments. And you being a farm, I know that you get me personally. So I really appreciate all your support. I do have some good news. So yesterday, I was able to actually talk to the vet in person about having boyfriend fixed. And I told him that it was important for me to have him fixed because I enjoy my animals free ranging and not being behind fences separated. And so he told me that it is a risk, but if I would bring boyfriend during the cooler weather, it was not as much of a risk to fix him. So he is going to fix him come probably around October or November. So once again, my animals will be reunited and not separated by fences. And I am super excited. I came out here and Johnny is limping, really. So he's limping. This is part of having a farm that's hard. So I'm fixing to have to check to see what's going on with him. And I haven't told you about earlier. Yesterday, I noticed that Polka, which is one of my goats, acted like she was not feeling well. And I just got some hay. It's a bales of hay instead of the rolls of hay. It came from the same person, so it's the same hay. But I noticed that all my goats had bloat. This morning, none of them have bloat. They're having it in the afternoon and not in the morning. So I have my farrier coming over this morning to help me worm all of them, just to make sure that they're not wormy or anything like that. I did worm them probably about 2 weeks ago, so it's time to worm again. So she's coming over here to help me. This is Polka. She's not acting like herself. So you see how she has her ears out? She's not feeling well. So I'm hoping that when we worm her, she feels 100% better. So I'm gonna leave all these goats in this morning because my farrier will be here at 9 o'clock this morning to help me look at them and assess them and see what she think might be going on with them. Before I let the chickens out, I'm gonna come in here and check on Johnny. All right, you see him kind of holding his foot up right here? So come here, let's look. Aha, he's got something stuck. Okay, hang on, let me get it out. Hang on, buddy. Feel it, let's get it out. All right, right. He had something stuck in his hoof. But you see, he's still bothered by it. There is this medicine called Hoof and Heel. It is wonderful for when they have some kind of foot injury. It did kind of smell in there, which makes me think it might be hoof rot too, but he did have something stuck, which was irritating him. So right now I'm gonna treat him with a hoof and heel, or heel and hoof, to make him better. So here it is right here. I'm going to, come here. Hopefully that'll help him in the next hour feel a little bit better and be able to walk on it again. I'm gonna leave him in the barn just to let that soak in really good. I might get my farrier to go ahead and look at Johnny to make sure there's not something else going on that I don't see. This morning I just heard 2 or 3 hawks out here. So I think I'm going to wait to let my chickens out. Did you hear that? That is a hawk. And it sounds like there's several. So I'm going to wait. The ones I've already let out are out here where the big animals are. Usually hawks are almost like scared to attack them because the big animals are around, which is a good thing. But I think what I'll do is come out here and just stand for a little bit to let that hawk know that I'm out here, and this means war. I want you to look at this. This is what I'm going through with separating by fences. And it makes me really sad. She is not in heat because I am looking. Physically, I can tell if she's in heat. And look at this. You see how they're not used to being separated by fences, and it makes me so sad. But they have to be separated until he gets fixed, because I am not going through piglets again anytime soon. As a matter of fact, me trying to get boyfriend fixed is a indication that I don't want to do this anymore. You know, I've done my best with these piglets. I've given my all to these piglets. I don't know how to tell you this, and I don't want this to be a sad video, but yesterday another piglet died. Immediately when I found the piglet that had passed away, I scooped all 3 piglets up along with Penny Lane and went back to the vet once again. Come on. You notice she's the one with one leg. So immediately when I went into the vet, he thought the piglets may have a virus. He began to tell me that piglets are notorious for getting viruses that can't be controlled. Like there's no medication you could do for prevention. There's no prevention that you can do about keeping them off the ground or anything like that. Is like it's not preventable, the viruses. And he checked all 3 piglets and they didn't have a virus. So I began to ask him, I said, I gave them a bath. Would that have anything to do with it? And he said, no, Judy, no, Judy, you did not cause this death of this piglet. And I said, I don't understand. And he said, unfortunately, it happens. This is part of having farm. And I don't want you to take responsibility for this piglet. But in a way I do, you know, but I know that in my heart that I gave it my all, and that's all I can do. And he told me it was okay to give the piglets a bath every single day. And he did tell me to start feeding them solid food in their milk. So I've started to do that, and it's just hard, y'all. So now on to Penny Lane. I told the vet, I said, I do not want to give up on Penny Lane without knowing what is wrong with her, because I don't know what's wrong with her. I told him that I had had another vet do an x-ray on Penny Lane, and he saw that her spine was a little crooked, but I wasn't convinced that that was a problem. And I had given her almost an entire bottle of niacin over the 2-month period, and it's not a niacin deficiency. And I said, for my own education, I need to know what's wrong with her before I decide to put her to sleep. So I told him that I wanted to do what it took to educate myself with her, and he said, let's give her another x-ray. So he took her in for an x-ray, and he began to show me all the tumors in Penny Lane. And he also showed me that Penny Lane was born with no joints in her legs. Penny Lane has always had a disability with walking. Like, she's never walked correctly, like since day one. And I've had her, I don't know, 3.5, 4 years now. And it was just all of a sudden, she couldn't walk anymore, and she couldn't hold her legs in. She was just like spraddle-legged. And he began to explain to me that she would never walk again because of her hip joints, and because of her tumors that she would suffer. So I made the decision to put her to sleep. And although I'm very sad about it, but I'm also glad that I was able to get educated, so I understand what would go on with other animals. And I know that I gave Penny Lane my all. And for the past 3 months, I have been doing everything in my power. I've been doing water therapy. I've given her niacin. I've been feeding her out of my hand. I had to move her around everywhere because she couldn't walk. And that's no quality of life. And I don't want this video to be sad. I want to rejoice and remember the great things about Penny Lane. So I ask you to help me rejoice in the 4 years that Penny Lane had here, because Penny Lane was the smartest duck I have ever seen in my life. Penny Lane learned so many things. She learned commands. Penny Lane knew how to stay like a dog. Penny Lane was so gentle. She was in magazines all over. She brought many joy to my life as well as other people, because people would come from all over to take pictures with Penny Lane. So let's not be sad. Let's rejoice again in the life that she had here on Snead's Farmhouse.